What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and I just finished up watching Chris Colbert versus Tugstsogt Nyambayar, and this was a 12-rounder for the interim WBA Super Featherweight World Championship, and this fight was Saturday, July 3rd from the Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson, California, and in this fight, Chris Colbert was able to get a wide and clear unanimous decision victory over Tugstsogt Nyambayar. Personally, I scored about 118 to 110 in favor of Chris Colbert, agreeing with two judges. And then the third judge scored about 117, 111 for Colbert, which is also a fine score. Colbert made this fight really, really good early on, trading with Tugstsogt Nyambayar. They had a very, very good first. I believe it was the first 6, 7, maybe 8 rounds were very, very good and fan-friendly. Colbert looked very good early on. I mean, he was landing some great combos. He did get hurt in the third round. He got buzzed by an overhand right from Nyambayar, but otherwise Colbert was in control with his jab, and he looked really, really good with that jab. I know I said the word good a lot, but that's how you could sum up Chris Colbert's performance here. It was a great win for him. Nyambayar, in my opinion, is still a very, very good fighter. He should move back down to 126. Obviously, he did take this fight on short notice, replacement for Yuriorkis Gamboa. But in my opinion, I think that Chris Colbert beat Tugstsogt Nyambayar better than Gary Russell Jr. did, but you have to take into consideration that Nyambayar was an opponent that came into this on 2 weeks' notice, and this is during a pandemic, whilst when Nyambayar fought Russell Jr. was right before, so there wasn't any crazy protocols and stuff like that. But just to break down the fight even more, after that third round where Colbert was a bit buzzed, he just was in control with the jab. And in that 12th round, in the last final 10 seconds, they were trading. I mean, they were just going hand in hand. I mean, they were just throwing punches like windmills. It was like rock'em sock'em robots for 10 seconds. But then Colbert did make it fairly boring for 4 or 5 rounds. He was just running around the ring jabbing. I know some might call it the sweet science, but for fans, that's not really what they want to see. And especially for Colbert, because he could have stopped Nyambayar in the 8th or 7th round, because he was really beating him up so bad in those mid to late rounds. But as I said before, Colbert did box on the outside for 4 or 5 rounds, and he did win most of them, except that 12th round I did give to Nyambayar because he did land a beautiful left hook on Colbert in that 12th round in the final 10 seconds that did rock him a bit on the ropes, but it looked like Colbert did recover quickly in time. But what is next for Chris Colbert? Successfully defending his interim WBA Super Featherweight World title here, I believe that he will face Xavier Martinez. He's another Showtime unbeaten prospect/contender. I mean, he just won the WBA Eliminator a couple months back. I believe it was in October, but then he's coming off another good victory on Showtime, I believe a month ago. But yeah, I believe that Xavier Martinez winning that Eliminator in October, being that he's ranked number 2 by the WBA, and being that Chris Colbert's obviously the number 1 contender, being that he's the interim champion, I think they will scrap for that interim belt. And if he wins that, then I could definitely see Chris Colbert taking on Roger Gutierrez, who is the WBA regular Super Featherweight World Champion. But if that fight falls through due to promotional issues, then I'm not really too sure otherwise. But what is next for the loser here? Tugstsogt Nyambayar, losing twice on the top level. He's coming off losses, or his losses are to Chris Colbert and Gary Russell Jr., so I believe that he will face someone like an Eduardo Ramirez. That's a very, very good opponent, interim WBA champion at featherweight. So I think he could definitely get another crack at the title. In my opinion, he reminds me of Sergey Derevyanchenko. Very good amateur background, great fighter, but doesn't really win at the really top level like here. But yeah, as I said before, I believe he will face Eduardo Ramirez for the interim WBA featherweight world title, which is in his natural weight division, next. So overall, Chris Colbert defeats Tugstsogt Nyambayar by unanimous decision to successfully defend his interim WBA super featherweight world title for the second time. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.